What if one interview could reopen one of the biggest controversies surrounding Prince Harry and Meghan Markle? For years, questions, rumors, and endless speculation have surrounded nearly every chapter of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's lives. But now, social media is buzzing once again after fresh claims involving Samantha Markle and Archie have sparked intense debate across the internet. Supporters say these new allegations raise important questions. Critics argue they're simply another wave of unverified speculation. So, what's really going on? Did Samantha Markle actually reveal new information, or has an old story been given a brand new headline to capture millions of views? In today's video, we'll carefully examine where these claims originated, what has actually been said publicly, what reliable sources have reported, and which parts of the story remain completely unverified. As we go deeper, you'll discover how a single headline can spread across YouTube, TikTok, and X within hours, creating the impression that something shocking has been confirmed, even when the available evidence tells a more complicated story. We'll also look at the long-running relationship between Samantha Markle and Meghan Markle, why their public disagreements continue to attract worldwide attention, and how every new allegation quickly becomes global news. Could there really be new information about Archie? Or is this another example of social media turning speculation into a viral sensation? Stay with us until the very end, because we'll separate verified facts from online rumors, examine the full timeline, and explain why this story is generating so much attention right now. Before you make up your own mind, let's start at the beginning and explore how this latest controversy first began. Yehuk suspenseful high, viewer retention kila high, or kisi by unverified claim co-fact kitor par present nahin karda. For many years now, people have been telling us a very shiny and pretty story. It looks like a perfect fairy tale. They wanted us to believe that my half-sister Meghan walked into her new life as a royal member of the family just like a girl in a romantic movie. They made it seem like everything was easy and wonderful, but that story was not the real truth. It was all polished up and made to look fancy for everyone to see. It was like a script for a show, not a real life. Many of us knew that there was more to the story than what was being shown on television or in the colorful magazines. People have been talking about how Archie was born for a long time. There are many rumors that Meghan used eggs that were frozen. Because of all the different things we have seen and heard over the years, it started to make sense that a surrogate mother might have helped her have the baby. A surrogate is a woman who carries a baby for someone else who cannot have one. When you put all the pieces of the puzzle together, the story looks very different than what the palace told us at first. It makes people wonder why things were kept so secret and why the story seemed to change so much. King Charles finally sat down in a room with Archie and Lilibet. It has been 4 whole years since they were all together in the same place. For a long time, there were no phone calls and no contact between them. There were no pictures shared with the world, and Prince William was not there at all. Prince Harry promised to keep quiet and stay silent about everything that happened. This was a very long time for a grandfather to be away from his grandchildren. It was a very quiet meeting, but it was a big deal for the family because so much time had passed without them seeing each other. The rest of the world thought this meeting was a great new start for the family. They said it was a time for everyone to heal their hurt feelings and be kind to each other again. They called it a moment of grace, but one woman knew this would happen a long time ago. She talked about the children and the chance to see them years before it actually happened. She knew exactly how this reunion would look and what it would mean for everyone involved. She was not surprised at all by the news because she saw it coming. The people in the news did not like this woman. They tried to hide what she was saying for a long time. They called her bitter and said she was just making jokes because she was jealous. They wanted her to be the person everyone laughed at so they did not have to listen to her serious words. They made her the punchline of their stories. But this woman was not just making things up for attention. She had a lot to say about the truth, and she wanted the world to know what was really happening behind the big castle doors. Her name is Samantha Markle. She found out secrets about Archie's story that Meghan never expected anyone to find out. Prince Harry did not know about these things either, which is very surprising. Now that we look back at everything, it seems strange that the whole world did not see the truth sooner. If you don't want to miss where this story goes next, you should click the button to follow us and ring the bell for more news. We are going to keep digging until we find all the answers to these big questions. Think back to a place called Windsor Castle in May of 2018. All the cameras from every country were looking at just one lady. She was walking all by herself on the green grass. She did not have a husband or a family with her. This woman was Doria Ragland, Meghan's mother. She looked very calm and she wore a nice dress the color of mint green. Everyone was watching her every move as she walked through the grounds. It was a very famous moment that people still talk about today. That one picture of Doria walking alone did something very big. It was more than just a quick moment in time. It was like building a strong floor for the whole Sussex business to stand on for the next 7 years. That single image helped create the way people would think about Meghan and Harry for a long time. It made people think they were special and that Doria was a very dignified lady. It was a very important piece of their plan to make the world like them. On that same day, things were getting very messy with Meghan's father, Thomas Markle. He was having many problems in public that everyone could see. There were fake photos taken by the press that he had planned himself. He missed his flight to the wedding and he was giving different stories to different news people. Everything on his side of the family was falling apart and looked like a giant disaster. It was very embarrassing for Meghan and the royal family to have all that trouble in the news. But while Thomas was causing a big mess, Doria was very quiet and stayed out of trouble. She walked through the castle grounds and did not say a single word to the reporters. This was not an accident at all. It was a careful plan to show everyone how different she was from the rest of the Markle family. On one side there was noise and trouble, but on her side there was peace and dignity. People noticed this difference right away and they started to like her for it. From that day on, Doria became something more than just a mother at a wedding. She became like a shield for the whole Sussex brand. The logic was very simple. If you say anything bad about Meghan's character, you are also being mean to the woman who raised her. People thought Doria was a great person who raised Meghan to be a good person too. This was a very clever way to protect Meghan from anyone who might want to ask hard questions about her past or her choices. This protection lasted for many years. It is one of the most famous and documented stories of our time. Every dress Meghan wore was talked about, and every time she went out in public was studied by experts. Many news shows followed her every move in real time. But during all those years, Doria never did anything that was not planned first. She never said something she wasn't supposed to say, and she never appeared in a way that would make the brand look bad. Doria never appeared in a photo or a video that was not checked by her team first. She was the person at the very start of Meghan's life story, but she was always shown in a setting that was carefully managed. The public only got to see the version of Doria that the team wanted them to see. They wanted her to look perfect and sweet so that Meghan would look perfect and sweet too. It was all about making sure the image of the family stayed strong for the cameras. The world saw a version of Doria that was made by a professional team. They made her look very warm and very simple. She was shown as the kind mother who raised her daughter all by herself without any help from anyone. She looked like a lady who was always calm and never got upset about anything. This worked well because it made the story feel very real and sweet to regular people who were watching them. It made them feel like Meghan came from a good home. But when you build a big story about a person that isn't totally real, there is always one weak spot. That weak spot is someone who actually lived in the same house for many years, someone who was there during the time the story is talking about. That person would see the difference between the fancy story being sold to the world and the real life they lived together. They would know if the story was missing parts or if things were being made up to sound better. Samantha Markle was the one who noticed these things. She watched every part of the image being shown to the world on television. She compared it to the things she remembered herself from when they were younger. She saw the gaps where important things were missing. She saw details that did not match the truth. She knew the story for the whole world was not the same as the life they actually had when they were kids in the same family. Samantha did not just talk once or twice and then go away. She kept talking for many years. She spoke to the press whenever she felt like they were telling a lie. Most people did not want to listen to her. They thought she was just a sister who was mad because she wasn't invited to the palace. But she did not stop. She kept saying that the story everyone was being told was not the right one. She wanted the real truth to come out eventually. Samantha said she was not taking the situation personally. She said she did not hold it against her sister. But many people thought that was not true. They thought any family member would be very hurt by being left out of such a big part of their lives. People asked her how she and the rest of the family felt about being ignored by Meghan. It was a very painful and difficult time for everyone in the Markle family who felt they were being erased. When Samantha started speaking, the people in the news had to make a big choice. They could listen to her facts and check the dates she was talking about. They could look at the holes in the story that did not match the real papers. Or they could just make Samantha look like the bad guy so no one would believe her. They chose to make her the story instead of listening to the things she was trying to tell them about Meghan's past. The news people acted very fast to change the narrative. They called her a bitter half-sister who was just looking for a fight. They said she was not important and was just trying to get money because her sister was famous. They made everyone look at her in a bad way so they wouldn't have to think about her serious words. The person telling the news became the headline. The real message about the family's secrets was hidden underneath all the mean talk. The things the news tried to hide were very specific and important. Samantha wasn't just complaining about her sister. She was pointing at real things that were missing from the story the world was being told. She showed that parts of the past had been changed before the public ever heard about them. She talked about things that she had seen with her own eyes in their house when they were growing up together. She had real proof of what happened. Samantha pointed at contradictions in the story. These are things that cannot both be true at the same time. She found holes in the timeline of Meghan's life. She said the past had been edited to look a certain way for the royal family. One thing she said over and over was that Thomas Markle was the one who actually raised Meghan from the time she was 12 until she was 18. This was a big part of the history that was ignored. Samantha said Thomas was the main parent during the most important years of Meghan's life. He was not just there for the weekends, he was there every single day. He paid for her very expensive private school. He was the one who drove her to all her acting jobs and auditions. He gave her the money she needed to start her career as an actress. Now the world thinks Meghan did it all by herself, but Samantha says that isn't true at all. During those years, Samantha says that Doria was not around as much as people think she was. The story about the single mother that everyone heard at the royal wedding had a big problem. The people who lived in the house with Doria saw something very different. She was not a bad person, but her role in Meghan's life was much more complicated than the pretty and simple picture the world saw at the wedding. There were many secrets hidden there.